Hi, I'm Jake, 32, and last month my mom confidently announced to 600 Facebook users that I didn't know my own birthday. So let me rewind. My birthday's November 12th. Has been for, I don't know, literally my entire life. But this year, I woke up to a quiet phone. No texts. No calls. Nothing. Just me, my sad treat yourself, bagel, and Spotify's Feel Good Friday, trying its best to hold me together. I figured maybe people were just waiting until the evening. Surprise party? Delayed greetings? Wishful thinking, but I let the delusion simmer. I even wore the shirt I saved for good days, navy, clean, fits me like it was sewn by angels. Around lunch, I posted a birthday photo dump. Nothing dramatic. Just me, a slice of cake, and the caption. Celebrated 32 with some amazing people. Grateful. Within minutes, likes rolled in. High school friends. Co-workers. One girl I kissed at a Halloween party in 2014. But then, the comment. From my own mother. Jake, your birthday is in October, honey. LOL. Did you change it? I blinked. I read it twice. 3 times. This woman who birthed me, who has my literal hospital bracelet in her jewelry box, had just publicly questioned when I was born. It wasn't the first time she'd messed it up. When I turned 25, she baked a cake with Happy 26th on it and argued with me for a full hour about it. When I turned 30, she sent a text that just said, Hope this is the right week. Love you. But this? Commenting publicly under my birthday post, as if I was confused about the date I've celebrated for 32 years. It exploded. Her friends chimed in. Wait, I thought it was October 2? Did Jake change his birthday for the algorithm? Someone from my mom's Pilates class commented, Astrology must be off this year. I stared at my phone like it had personally betrayed me. I replied, It's November 12th, Mom. Same date for 32 years. You were there. Silence. Then Vanessa, my sister, of course, commented, Mom's right. You were born in October. Oh no. That's when I realized. They were confusing me with my brother, who's actually born in October. 1 month apart. Same hospital. Similar baby names. I guess at some point they just filed me under extra kid. And I hadn't even gotten to the worst part yet. That night, I didn't even eat the birthday leftovers I'd ordered. You ever tried to enjoy garlic knots when your own mother is publicly accusing you of identity fraud? Not easy. The comment thread had grown into a full-blown debate. People from my mom's church were arguing with my friends from college. One guy I barely knew commented, Is this performance art? My ex-girlfriend liked that comment. So that was fun. My Aunt Cheryl chimed in. Didn't Jake have that Scooby-Doo party in October that one year? My Uncle Dave replied, That was Brian. Jake's the November one. Pretty sure. Incredible. I felt like a side character in my own life. Meanwhile, I hadn't heard a single word from my parents. No call. No apology. Just that rogue Facebook comment and radio silence. It felt like being ghosted by your own bloodline. Then around 9 p.m., my phone rang. Not Mom. Not Dad. Not even Vanessa. It was my best friend Evan. Dude. Are you okay? I didn't even answer. I just kind of groaned. He continued. I'm at my girlfriend's, and her entire family is talking about your birthday post. I guess someone screenshotted it and dropped it in a Facebook group called When Boomers Misfire. You're kinda going viral. I laughed, half out of disbelief, half out of pain. I didn't ask for this. I just wanted cake and a text message. Evan paused. Look, I know your family's like that. But I've got an idea. Now, Evan's ideas are generally either genius or mildly illegal. This one was either. It was perfect. You're coming here tomorrow. I'm throwing you a birthday brunch. Real one. No debates. We're even making name tags that say Jake, born in November. I almost cried. Genuinely. I wanted to joke about it, but I was too touched. You're serious? As a November birth certificate. He hung up, already texting the group. I stared at my phone, heart weirdly full. Then, finally at 11:17 p.m., a message from my mom. Just 2 words. You sure? I didn't even reply. I showed up to Evan's place the next morning still half expecting the brunch to be a joke. Like maybe I'd walk in and find him in a robe with 2 stale croissants and a balloon that said, "Congrats." But no. I opened the door and immediately got hit with the smell of bacon and fresh cinnamon rolls and the sight of 12 adults wearing homemade name tags that said, Team November. #Justice for Jake. There was a banner, an actual, printed, laminated banner that read, "Happy birthday, Jake. We believe you." I laughed so hard I nearly dropped the bottle of cheap champagne I'd brought. Evan popped out from the kitchen, apron on, spatula in hand. "Welcome to your correctional celebration, where birthdays are accurate and families get publicly roasted." I hugged him. The guy deserved a statue. Everyone was there. Friends from college, coworkers, Evan's girlfriend's cousin who barely knew me but apparently just liked drama. Someone made a playlist called 32 and definitely November. One song was literally just the sound of a calendar flipping for a full minute. Halfway through brunch, Evan tapped a fork against his mimosa glass and stood up. "All right, folks. We're gonna do a little reading." He pulled out a stack of papers. Dramatic readings of the Facebook comments, beginning with, "Jake, your birthday is in October, honey. LOL." The room howled. My coworker Amanda stood and read my mom's comment like she was performing Shakespeare. Then Evan's girlfriend played my response, dramatically clutching a printout of my birth certificate he'd somehow acquired. I was crying laughing by the time someone reenacted Vanessa's "Mom's right" comment in a sorority girl voice that was so accurate it was almost criminal. Then came the kicker. Evan dimmed the lights and put on a projector. "Ladies and gentlemen," he said, "I give you the original post, the full comment thread, and the moment Jake reclaimed his birth month." He clicked through the screenshots like a historian giving a TED Talk. People cheered at my comment. Like I was the underdog protagonist in a biopic. My friend Sam actually stood up and started a slow clap. The best part? I believed it. For the first time since this whole mess started, I didn't feel like a footnote in my own life. I felt like the damn headline. But then, just as the crowd was chanting, "Jake was born in November," my phone buzzed. A new comment. From Ruth. My mother. "Please stop embarrassing the family. Call me." The room went quiet when I showed Evan. He stared at it, jaw clenched, then said, "New plan. We're making t-shirts." I didn't call her. Not right away. Instead, I ate 3 more cinnamon rolls, took selfies with every single guest under the "We Believe You" banner, and helped Evan design t-shirts on his laptop. Front. "I know when I was born." Back. "Team November since 1991. At some point during the party, someone passed me a Sharpie and said, "Write something you wish your mom had said to you yesterday." I stood there holding the pen, stupidly frozen by that request. What did I want her to say? I scribbled something without thinking. "Happy birthday, Jake. I'm proud of you." Then I added a tiny, bitter smiley face. It felt safer that way. Later that night, when the guests were gone and Evan was snoring under a pile of paper plates, I finally sat on the couch and stared at my phone. My family group chat had 46 unread messages. I opened it like someone opening a suspicious Tupperware in the fridge. Slowly. Braced for rot. Vanessa. "I told you to take the post down." Mom. "Your father is upset." Dad. "This isn't the kind of attention you want, son." Mom. "Your Aunt Cheryl called crying." "Crying, Jake?" Vanessa. "You're ruining Thanksgiving." Mom. "Call me." I took a breath. Then another. Then I typed, "I'm not the one who forgot my own birthday." That was all of you. Read receipts popped up. No replies. 3 minutes later, a message from Dad. Just one line. "Let's talk, okay?" Not online. I ignored it. Not out of pettiness. Out of preservation. Instead, I opened Instagram and posted one of the photos from brunch, me mid-laugh, cinnamon roll in hand, surrounded by people who actually showed up. Caption. "Sometimes the family that remembers your birthday isn't the one you're related to." Within an hour, the post had 142 likes and 3 DMs from people I hadn't spoken to since high school, all saying the same thing. This hit hard. That night, I didn't sleep much. My brain wouldn't shut up. I kept hearing my mom's voice. "Call me." I kept seeing Vanessa's text. You're ruining Thanksgiving. I kept wondering how I became the villain in my own birthday story just because I wanted to be remembered. At 2:47 a.m., my phone buzzed with a voicemail. From Mom. I stared at it for 5 minutes before pressing play. Hi, sweetheart. Her voice said, quieter than usual. I didn't realize how hurt you were. I guess. I didn't think it mattered. I always thought you were the one who didn't care about birthdays. You always seemed fine when we forgot. I never realized you were just pretending. There was a pause. A long one. I'm sorry, Jake. Truly. I don't expect you to forgive me right away, but I hope you'll call. Click. I sat there staring into the dark, the apology echoing louder than any of the chaos that had come before. And weirdly, all I could think was, it took Facebook embarrassment for you to realize I was hurting? The next morning, I listened to the voicemail again while brushing my teeth, as if maybe on the second playthrough it would morph into something more satisfying. Like maybe she'd add a, "You're my favorite and always have been." Or, "Here's a legally binding contract that says Vanessa will never comment under your posts again." But no. Same message. Same hesitant tone. Same belated realization. I didn't call her back. Not because I didn't want to, but because I didn't trust myself to say anything that wasn't laced with 20 years of swallowed birthdays and second-place trophies. Instead, I called my grandma. She picked up after 2 rings and said, "I saw your Facebook post." I laughed so hard I nearly dropped my toast. "Happy belated birthday, honey." I grinned. "Thanks, Grandma. Glad at least one person has internet access and memory." She didn't sugarcoat it. "Your mother always had a blind spot where Vanessa was concerned. You were just easier." "Easier to forget?" "No," she said firm. "Easier to neglect without resistance. But that's on them, not you." It hit me like a punch. I'd always told myself I was the chill one. The low-maintenance one. The one who got it. But maybe that wasn't my personality. Maybe that was survival. I hung up the call feeling both better and worse. Work was a blur that week. I half-read emails, attended Zoom meetings in a fog, and kept a post-it on my monitor that said, November 12th. Never let it go. Not for revenge. For documentation. By Thursday, I started getting texts from extended family. Cousins I hadn't seen in years. My dad's sister in Florida. Even my weird Uncle Barry. "Hey, saw the drama. Just wanted to say I remember you were born in November. I was at the hospital. There were vending machine Skittles involved." Another one read, "Your mom's acting like she got doxxed. It's your birthday. Not a hostage situation." That one was from my cousin Emily. Hero. But the most unexpected text came Friday night. Vanessa. She'd sent a voice memo. I stared at it for a good minute, thumb hovering. Every instinct screamed, "Don't give her the oxygen." But I pressed play. Her voice came through my phone, surprisingly quiet. "Jake, I reread the thread. And I realized something. You've been putting up with this for years. I think I got used to being the one they made everything about. I didn't see what that meant for you." Another pause. I could hear her sigh. "I'm not great at sharing the spotlight. I know that. I'm working on it. Anyway, happy birthday. A real one. I hope you felt celebrated, even if it wasn't by us." Click. I sat there in my dark apartment for a while, unsure what to feel. Vindicated? Yes. Skeptical? Also yes. Moved? Against my will, yeah? Then my phone buzzed again. This time, a text from Evan. "Brunch sequel? The Reckoning? You bring the cake. I'll bring a laminated copy of your birth certificate." I laughed out loud. And then, without thinking too hard about it, I finally texted my mom back. "Got your message. Still processing. We can talk soon. But not before you enter November into every calendar you own." She replied with a single emoji. Progress? Maybe. The following Monday, I walked into work and found a cupcake on my desk with a tiny sign stuck in it that said, "Born in November. Deal with it." Grant from HR peeked around the cubicle wall and winked. "Figured you could use a pick-me-up. HR can't give therapy, but we can give carbs." Bless that man. At lunch, I told Amanda and Jordan, the only coworkers I trusted with both my lunch order and my feelings, about the voicemail from Vanessa. Amanda raised an eyebrow. She sent a voice memo? That's how you know she meant it. Millennials don't record themselves unless there's a hostage or a rap battle involved. Jordan took a bite of his sandwich and said, "You gonna forgive them?" I shrugged. Not yet. I'm still enjoying being the mysterious family villain. They laughed, but the question stayed with me all afternoon. Was I going to forgive them? It wasn't even about the birthday anymore. It hadn't been for a while. It was about years of feeling like a background actor in a family sitcom where Vanessa got top billing and I got told to keep it down during her monologue. But something weird was happening now. For the first time, they were trying. And I could feel it. Not in a grand parade of apologies way. More like subtle weather shifts. My dad emailed me a funny article about Chicago traffic and ended it with, "P.S. I set a Google alert for November 12th. Never again." Vanessa followed me on Instagram and liked my Team November post. No comment, just a like. But still. And my mom? She sent me a letter. An actual, handwritten letter in the mail. On the front of the envelope, she'd written, in parentheses, I triple-checked the date. Inside were 3 pages. No defensiveness. No, you misunderstood. Just stories. Memories I'd forgotten. She wrote about the first time I crawled, how I used to make up songs about our dog, how she cried when I got my driver's license because I refused to smile in the photo and looked like a tiny criminal. She wrote, I don't want to be the kind of mother whose kid celebrates with strangers because his real family didn't show up. I did that to you. I let you disappear. I'm sorry. By the time I reached the last page, my face was wet and I hadn't even noticed. I set the letter down and stared at the wall. Because, damn it, she meant it. And that's when the guilt crept in, soft and familiar like an unwanted houseguest. Was I being too hard on them? Was the public post too much? Should I take it down? I texted Evan. Thinking of deleting the birthday post. It's causing waves. He replied instantly. Leave it up. It's not about revenge. It's about truth. You told the truth. And sometimes the truth is the first step to change. I read it twice. Then I pinned the post to the top of my page. Let the waves come. Thanksgiving loomed like a dentist appointment for the soul. Every year, we did dinner at my parents' place in Oak Park. Turkey, mashed potatoes, Vanessa acting like she'd invented gratitude. The usual. But this year, everything was charged. Tense. Like a holiday-themed escape room. The night before, I stood in my apartment staring at a suitcase for 20 minutes. I wasn't even packing. I was just mentally preparing for the war zone I might be walking into. And then, as if on cue, my phone buzzed. Mom. Safe travels tomorrow. So excited to see you. I made your favorite, green bean casserole with the crunchy onions this time. I stared at that sentence like it was written in a foreign language. This woman hadn't cooked anything specifically for me in years. And she remembered the onions. Maybe she'd undergone a brain transplant. Or maybe the mortification of being publicly corrected about her own child's birthday had knocked some clarity loose. Either way, I replied. Thanks. I'll be there around 3. The next day, I pulled into the driveway already sweating. I brought a bottle of wine and a container of store-bought pumpkin pie because I wasn't showing up empty-handed, but I also wasn't about to try. Mom opened the door like she was auditioning for a Folgers commercial. Jake! Look at you! She said, wrapping me in a hug that smelled like nutmeg and performance anxiety. Vanessa was already inside, standing by the fireplace with a wine glass and that passive-aggressive older sibling aura that said, I've already claimed the moral high ground, so good luck. Dinner was awkward. Every time I passed the mashed potatoes, someone passed me a compliment. We're really proud of how well you're doing at work, Jake. Your haircut's great. That shirt brings out your eyes. At one point I leaned over to my cousin Emily and whispered, I think they read an article called How to Parent the Child You Forgot Existed. She snorted wine through her nose. Then, right after dessert, Dad stood up and cleared his throat. Never a good sign. We just wanted to say something. He began, looking at me. We've made mistakes. Big ones. Forgetting your birthday wasn't the beginning of them, it was just the latest. And we're sorry. Mom nodded, her eyes shiny. We love you, Jake. We didn't always show it the right way, but we do. And from now on, you come first too. Not just Vanessa. Vanessa blinked like she'd just been hit with a surprise tax bill. I raised an eyebrow at her. She gave me a tight, diplomatic smile and topped off her wine. And then, get this, my dad pulled out his phone and showed me a new calendar entry. November 12th, Jake's birthday, do not mess this up. He looked at me with a rare smirk. Set to repeat forever? I should have made a snarky comment. I should have laughed it off. But instead I just nodded. Thanks. That means something. The room exhaled. Tension softened. People returned to their pie. It wasn't perfect. But it was real. Later, while helping Mom wash dishes, she said, I read every comment under your birthday post. Even the mean ones. I deserved most of them. I handed her a plate. I didn't post it to punish you. I just needed someone to see it. See me? She dried the plate slowly. I see you now. And I believed her. It only took 32 years and a public dragging, but hey, progress. Christmas came a month later, and for the first time in years, I didn't dread it. It was subtle at first, small shifts that you'd miss if you weren't paying attention. But I was paying attention. I'd trained my entire life for that. My mother called me on December 1st just to chat. No grocery questions. No. Do you remember where we stored the tree stand? Just, how was your week? My father sent me an article about a new podcast on sibling dynamics, and under it wrote, thought this might be up your alley. Also, I added a reminder for your half-birthday. No excuses. And as ridiculous as that was, I smiled so hard my jaw hurt. Even Vanessa was evolving. Slowly. She sent me a photo from our childhood, both of us in matching pajamas on Christmas morning, her holding a Barbie dream house, me holding socks. She captioned it, at least they got your size right? LOL. Making progress. And when I replied, you only got that dream house because I told Mom you wanted it, she actually texted back, wait what? Are you serious? I was. She didn't reply for 10 minutes. Then, okay. You're officially better than me. Consider this my formal surrender. I screenshot that. Printed it. Framed it. Hung it in my hallway. On Christmas Day, I walked into my parents' house and the first thing I saw was a framed photo of me and Vanessa from Thanksgiving, mid-laugh, wine glasses in hand. Equal space. Equal smiles. No one cropped out. The second thing I noticed? A birthday cake. Sitting proudly on the side table, frosted in blue, with, Happy belated birthday, Jake, November 12th, written across the top in clumsy icing. I turned to my mom, who was holding a plate of cookies. She shrugged like it was no big deal. Took me 3 tries to get the date right on the cake order. 3rd time's the charm. It wasn't just the cake. It was everything. A stocking with my name on it that didn't look like a regift. A thoughtful book I'd actually wanted. A seat at the table between my dad and my grandmother instead of the folding chair next to the dog bed. It was small, yes, but deliberate. And maybe that's all I ever wanted. That night, after dinner, Vanessa sat next to me on the couch while we watched Elf for the millionth time. She handed me a gift I hadn't seen under the tree. I wasn't sure if I should give this to you here, she said, but I figured screw it. Inside was a photo album. One she'd made. The first page said Jake, born in November, we checked. The rest? Memories. Actual ones? From when we were kids. Middle school. Graduation. College visits. Moments that included me. Captured me. Showed me I existed to her, even if she hadn't always said it. On the last page was a note. I was always the favorite, but you were always the glue. I see that now. Thanks for finally calling us on our crap. I needed it. We all did. I didn't cry. Not then. I waited until I got home, put on my comfiest hoodie, sat on the couch, and flipped through the album again alone. And when I reached that final page a second time, I just let the tears fall. Not out of sadness. Not even relief. But because I finally believed it. They saw me. It took going nuclear on Facebook, enduring the judgment of half the extended family, surviving Momgate 2024, and hosting a birthday brunch with laminated evidence, but it worked. I'd drawn a boundary and, miraculously, they hadn't just respected it, they'd stepped over to meet me on the other side. A few days later, I posted a follow-up on Instagram. A photo of the birthday cake. The album. Me smiling like someone who had just clawed their way back into their own story. Caption. Turns out you can't choose the family you're born into, but you can teach them how to treat you. Happy holidays, from your local November baby. The comments were warm. The likes rolled in. And then, just before midnight, a new comment from Ruth. Already planning your 33rd, November. I promise. Love you? I replied with a simple heart. Not everything was fixed. I still had work to do, on the years I spent making myself small, on the belief that love had to be earned, on the guilt I still felt when I took up space. But I wasn't alone in that work anymore. And honestly, that was enough. New Year's Eve, I celebrated with Evan and the crew again. Tasha brought sparklers. Someone baked a cookie cake that said, November Legend. I wore my I Know When I Was Born t-shirt like it was armor. At midnight, as fireworks exploded over the skyline and people cheered and kissed and screamed their countdowns into the night, I stood in the middle of a rented rooftop, plastic cup in hand, and whispered to myself, I'm not the afterthought anymore. And I wasn't.